These are the things that you're thinking about with the Browns. You do this every week. We always talk to you about it. Browns were last
Yeah.
in pre-snap motion. Where was Deontay Foreman and replacing David Njoku? And I'm with you on all three of these.
Yeah. So the pre-snap motion is shocking, right? So 31st last year, there's a direct correlation, if you dig into the numbers, Dave, between pre-snap motion and offensive success. There just is, right? Guys like Kyle Shanahan, Mike McDaniel are using this at a high level to great offensive success, right? And those are guys that are directly rooted in the same kind of offensive background that Stefanski is. So 31st last year, you bring in Nick Charlton, Tommy Reese, Dorsey. Charlton specifically was known for his, window dressing in college at Maine and Connecticut. Tommy Reese as well. And they finished dead last in week one, Dave, in pre-snap motion. That is a shocking and telling number. Now, the pushback on that is at times pre-snap motion can trigger blitzes and things like that from the opponent. And when you're having issues on the offensive line, as the Browns were, maybe you shy away from that. However, dead last is kind of I can't explain that, and it's inexcusable to me because especially when you have a quarterback struggling, a simple motion of the running back out and back can indicate zone or man. Um, you just, gaining leverage by just moving guys before the snap. There's so many simple things that can be gained from motion that doesn't even really have to do anything. You know what I mean? It just helps unravel that defense and help the quarterback so they're not trying to figure it all out post snap, right? And when there's such a minimal usage of it after this overhaul on the offensive staff, I'm baffled.
Yeah, and to your point, it's aimed to give you some quick answers and easy, okay, this guy's playing this leverage. We get the ball to him. We see that, we go there, it's done, we get 4 yards. And I would add penalties. It's like, could we
Yeah.
find a way not to be in 1st and 15 or 2nd and 13? That seemed like the entire first half was played in the teens, which is not where you want to be. And I'm with you with Deontay Foreman. Again, Jerome Ford maybe he might be a decent running back. Foreman gives you something that Ford doesn't give you. He gets upfield quickly and will get 3-4 yards.
And especially last week where there was minimal creases and you had to get to like 2nd and 6s, right? Like you just didn't want to be in 3rd and long. So, if you're going to run the ball on first down, he at least will get in that crease where sometimes, and I like Jerome Ford, but sometimes he doesn't, he's like hesitant to get in there, right? Like he kind of dances and looks for the bigger play sometimes, and he'll miss just sometimes when there's nothing there and there's maybe a little crease. Just get in there and fall forward, get your 4 or 5 yards. That's what Foreman is made for. That's what he does, right? So when you're starting a drive and you've been in 1st and 15, and every third down has been 3rd and 7 plus, maybe you get Foreman in there for a couple series so he can get you ahead of the sticks a little bit. You're also less likely to have some of those pre-snap penalties if you're running the ball a little bit more. I mean, they ran the ball like 5 times in the first half, Dave. I mean, they build on that completely. And the non-usage of him, I just, once again, baffled, unexplainable, unless he's hurt,
Right.
but then he shouldn't be on the active roster.
That was my thought. He's more banged up than we believed. Um, there is no replacement on this roster for David Njoku. I mean, you might end up having to do Nick Harris as a tight end. You might end up having to do 4 wides and Cedric Tillman. None of them are. You're going to have to change what you do with the tight end position.
Yeah, and we talked about this a lot in the preseason. Like they're going to carry 2 tight ends, and if Njoku's hurt, they're probably going to throw, as you just pointed out, they're going to throw extra offensive linemen and more wide receivers at it, and just adjust the offense. Like there is no really replacing him in this offense, right? He is too much a part of everything they do. Now they should be fine. It's not the end of the world. But like these guys on the practice squad aren't going to come up and serve the role of what Jeff Swaim and these guys that they've signed. I don't believe are going to come up and serve the role that Njoku did. Now Jordan Akins can still be a pass catcher and be effective in this offense, but he's by no stretch of the imagination the dual threat blocking, pass catching tight end that Njoku is. They just don't have that guy on the roster. So expect to see extra linemen like Nick Harris and maybe Cedric Tillman coming in to help chip block and things like that.